Hey YouTube, what is up? This video is going to be a little bit different today. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to talk more about me personally, the things that I'm going through, which if you're interested in that, that's fine, and feel free to listen and to see if this video can even help one person who's dealing with the same or similar stuff that I do, then this video is worth making to me. As for like a lot of people, man, food aversions and food phobias is something that is hard to believe that it happens, and it does to a lot of people. Obviously, it can affect you in a lot of ways. In me, I've been extremely thin when I was a kid, and then I got a lot bigger because I relied on more fatty food, should I say, to rely on. So I've dropped down a lot of weight. My biggest, I was at 120 kg, which is some crazy ass, like, let's go down to here and I'll show you, like it's just under 286 pounds. Is like, it's about 10 kg under that, man. So it's, I was heavy, right? I was like that kind of like huge kind of a person, you know what I mean, right now. And it says I'm 75.5 kg, so I've dropped a good 45 almost like kg, which is a lot. Like in terms of pounds, how much is that even, man? Like, yeah, I've lost like 99 pounds in terms of just like body weight. Like, I've just had that much like drop off me. Well, not drop off me, like, it's been a journey. So let's dive into it. What is a food aversion? What is a food phobia? For me, it's something that I've suffered with the majority of my life, apart from when I was a very small child. It's partial to do with my cerebral palsy, but it's also to do with things that have happened to me in my life in general. And when I was a kid, I don't remember exactly how old it was. I had a babysitter like around, and he tried to force feed me basically. Like, and I'm not just like he tried to force food into my mouth. I went to hide in the porch of my house, and he grabbed me by my arm, dragged me literally across the entirety of the house, and then forced me to eat it. Like, if I didn't, he would have just kept like on and dragging and being abusive in that sense. Like, I was like little, I was like 9, 10, maybe like a little bit younger, maybe like 5, 6, somewhere around there. Like, you know, like I was that kind of age. I was like, not quite, I was like year 4, year 5 in English terms. I'm not sure what that is in like American terms, but I was a little kid, you know what I mean? I couldn't defend myself. There was no way in hell, man. This dude was like teenager, like 17, 18, like way huge, like 6 foot tall type of person, and like, you know, it's impossible to fight back against that when you're that little. And it was about a few weeks after that happened that I decided I couldn't eat food. My mind would just not let me do it. Like, every time whenever I try something new, my body tries to throw it up. Like, so I'm not exactly sure how to really describe that. There's only certain foods that I can eat, basically, which don't make me feel sick, and so I've had to move my food aversion around those kinds of food. And the main question I wanted to answer is it possible to lose weight? Is it possible to become healthy, to have a healthy lifestyle, to be able to like build muscle, to be able to do all of those things with food aversion, with a food phobia? Yes, it is. Is it easy? No. Is it expensive? It can be. It depends on what you can stomach. So one of the things a lot of people do if they can't eat their vegetables and their fruits is they blend them and then they drink them. I can't do that because the thickness of it just makes me feel sick. So I literally buy AG1. It's expensive. It's £79 per month just for that one supplement. And then obviously I have my creatine and my protein and my extra fiber, my fish oil, and that's not even including food. That's not even including like high protein foods that I'm trying to get into. Like, I've always loved things like spaghetti bolognese, so thankfully I can eat that. And as I've started to eat it more and more, I've kind of built up to be able to put some vegetables like hidden into it, either blended or cut very smallly into it, so that I get some of the health benefits from that. I can only eat one kind of fruit, which is an apple, and I can eat things like hamburgers, like not like with buns or anything like that. It's just like straight, like just the meat, and then I'll have some kind of carbohydrate with it, like something just like pure energy, just to kind of get a little bit of fat, a little bit of carbohydrates into my body, as that's needed also. You kind of have to hit a lot of your macros. You don't need to hit every macro, you just need to hit enough for you to be healthy. So the main macros you're wanting to be hitting is most likely going to be having enough fiber, having enough protein, and having enough energy, which is carbohydrates. Having a little bit of fat, healthy fat is the best fat you can go for, but a little bit of fat can't hurt either. As for everything else, like, I spend probably something in the region of 100 and something a month on just supplements just to keep me healthy, just so I don't just so I'm not feeling sickly, because there's times when this is going to be kind of nasty, I guess, but where you just can't go to the bathroom, when you just can't do the things, when you don't have all these healthy things in your life. Your life turns into, how am I going to the bathroom, becomes a half-hour affair. It becomes to such a point that you just can't face it, that like going to the bathroom is scary. It's like one of those things where, like, what happens if I can't? What happens if this goes on for days? Like, you know what I mean? It's scary and it's difficult. The only reason that I managed to drop so much weight before I started training, which is I've been training properly for the last like 7 months or so, but like I've always, like, I cycled and stuff like that in order to lose some weight. Like originally when I started in October, November, somewhere around there, it was like last year, like October, November last year, I was at 85 kg. So I managed to drop down quite a lot just from cycling and trying to live a little bit of a healthier life. But this is my first proper full year where I'm going full on, where I trained all the way through the winter and not stopped, not missed a single week, hit every deload, hit everything that you need to do in order to try to do things. And it's possible. It's definitely possible to do it. Is it possible to build muscle? Yes, it is. Is it possible to get stronger even though your food aversions get in the way? Yes, of course it is. Is it easy? Is it cheap? No, and no, it can be expensive. It depends what you can tolerate, man. If you can tolerate having some things, it's easier. If you can't, if you have to drink most of your macros, like I do, then it's even more difficult than you can ever imagine in order to kind of get everything in. It's just one of those things that you have to deal with, unfortunately. And I would rather drink my macros and then have them there so I know they're 100% there, so I can focus on the more important things, which is like the training and the rest of my life type stuff, so I can build muscle, get stronger, which also helps with my CP, and it also helps with every other aspect of my life. It allows me to walk a lot easier, as my legs are probably one of the strongest parts on me. Crazily enough, but still. We're going to jump into like my workout routine, not like a crazy analysis, but just so you kind of get an idea. I train 5 days a week right now. I started at 3, worked up to 4 because I added like a cardio day. Then I've just added 5 this week. Literally, this week's literally been when I've added my 5th day. So I've been building up to it, adding like I didn't have all of these like extra things like straight away. I added them in slowly as I knew what I needed. So I knew I needed the fiber. I know I need things like fish oil, and it was just finding the AG1 took me a bit. I think I found it from Juji Murphy, if I'm remembering rightly. I think he was showcasing it on one of his videos and that type of stuff, but yeah. So like I said, I'm 75.5 kilograms or 166 pounds in body weight. My everyday goal is 10,000 steps. That's my like layman's terms, like regardless if I'm training, not training, I will always aim for that 10,000 steps a day. Then by Monday, it's kind of like not really the start of the week. I class Sunday and Monday as my end of the week. So the Monday is just the second day to hit every body part twice a week. That's how I view it. It depends. It doesn't matter how you view your week, as long as you're hitting every body part throughout the week, man. It honestly doesn't matter when you're hitting it, as long as you're doing it. So I class Monday as the very end of my week, in terms of like it starts from Tuesday, and then Wednesday is my main first training day. So we do bent over rows for about 30 kg. We do times 5 for about 10 sets, just to kind of get the repetition in there, just to kind of get the form perfect, because it's about form, it's not about weight. Like, weight matters, but it's like form is the most important thing about lifting. And then we have, of course, the incline dumbbell, which of course you're at like a slight incline, and you're putting the dumbbells down and focusing on like pressing your chest, using the machine pet fly for about 72 to 158 pounds. That's generally just a chest exercise. Also, pull-ups is just like trains your arms, it trains your shoulders. It's just like a very nice like all-round workout, and very, very easy to do with no equipment whatsoever. Then we do some barbell cross for about 20 kg. So this one is the last of my arm sets that I would consider my last, but so you would have it as, it's the high rep low weight one for me, so I generally curl, when I'm not doing the low one, about 30 to 40 kg I think it is, depending on how much I put onto the bar. Generally I put two 10 kg plates on each side of the curling bar, but for this one I go a bit lighter and I just go for higher reps. So we do this not as a superset, but as a like 3-minute rest, 3-minute rest, 3-minute rest, 3-minute rest, and then we just keep going through it. So we do a barbell curls for 20. Then we do the barbell up to shoulder, so you have the barbell, like you hold it down, and then you literally use your arms and catch it like that, if you know what I'm saying. So, and then you have the standing strict press, which is obviously standing strictly and you're pressing the weight into the air. And then of course, at the very end of all of that, once you tied out basically the entirety of your arms, you do the dumbbell standing skull crusher, which is where you put it behind you like that, and you go up, and you just keep pressing back, and it stretches down all of your arm. And it's just that really nice way to finish off your arms at the end of that workout. So it hits my back, it hits my chest, it hits my shoulders, and then it hits the entirety of my arms, including my shoulders as well. So all of like the upper body is fully worked out for like the most part. Like that's how I generally do it on that day. So Wednesday I consider my first training day. We start with deadlifts. I try to aim for about 130 kg, 296. It depends how I'm feeling, because adding in that 5th day is kind of crushing me right now. So today I had to reduce it down to 120 kg for like 4 reps for 5 sets, but that's just because I was a little bit fatigued from Sunday, then Monday, then it's going to take me a few weeks to get used to this new setup, to this new program, if you will, but I'm going to get there. And then we'll go straight back up to 130. Once we hit that for times 5, that's going to go up to 135 kg, and so on and such forth until we get to some kind of plateau, because my max right now is 150. That's the most I've ever lifted in a deadlift, but I'm trying to build it up slowly in terms of like adding more reps and working on technique over massive amounts of weight, as that's not really the safest way to really work on your form. So then of course we have another strict overhead press. This is the more heavier one. It's the one where you take down the amount of reps and you add more weight. So I just mastered 40 kg today, so 50 kg is going to be the next session at 110 pounds times 5. Then we do this till failure. We're also supersetting it with like a lighter dumbbell, and we don't do straight shoulder, we go to the back of the shoulder and we go up that way. So it really works out like the shoulder to that point. Then we do the diverging lat pull down, which is like you get the standard, and then the diverging is where it goes more out like that, and it really works like the back of your arms like that really well. It really works. Then we do dips, which is pure shoulders, and then of course we have our second arm day, or the first arm day of the week, should I say, with the skull crushers. It's a light one. It's one that we just start the week with, so we just do the standard curling bar, like I said, with about 30 to 40 kg of weight, and the skull crushers just with a 20 kg bar and just put it behind us as we're laying down, and it just really stretches out the arms. It's really nice. Cardio is cardio on a Thursday, and we have a little bit of core at the end. Core is important, but it's trained by other things too. I just like to add at least one core day, just so I'm making sure to hit my core once, because I know squats are going to hit it, I know deadlifts are going to hit it, I know a lot of things are going to hit it, even though I'm not like actively training it. So, and then we get into Friday. Friday is the third day of the week, so I generally do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, rest Saturday, then Sunday, and then Monday. That's generally my week. So the Friday is our chest session. It's our bench. We do 55 kg right now. It's not the max I've ever done, but I don't have a spotter. I generally train by myself, so I have to be very careful with how I go up in weights. So I did 50 kg for 5, so we're up to 55 kg to be done in 2 days' time. And then we do pause reps, so we don't just like bounce it off our chest. We put it down, lower it, wait about a second or two, then we push it back up. So we get the most range of motion, we get the most time of attention going through the chest, just to make sure everything is going down good. Then of course we have the 20 kg in each hand, because we do the bench, then we do the incline bench with dumbbells, and it's just the same thing. And then the way that I found best to do chest is like, you don't do it like, just straight. You put it in line with where your chest is, and then you press down onto it. Like you put everything into that kind of line with like, your shoulders and your chest and everything there. And you push it all down, and it really hits your chest. It really opens your chest up, and it's really awesome to do it that way. That's what I found anyway. And then, of course, we have the machine pet fly, which we've already gone through. And then this is my next, this is like the bigger arm day. This is the really big supersets. So we do side raises, which is like obviously do side raises. You don't use very much weight with that because it's very difficult to hit that properly. We use the curl bar for like I said, about 30 to 40 kg ish. I'm not exactly sure. Skull crushers like we did before, and then we do push-ups because it's chest day. And being chest day, the push-ups just add onto the arms, it adds onto the chest, and it does all of those things. We try to do 5 supersets. I generally hit 5. I generally go to like 7 or 8 just to kind of make sure blood's pumped through everything and to make sure everything's going good. And then we end it with that stretch, like I said, behind you. That's a very nice stretch to do at the end, so I added that in to add a stretch onto the last bit of my workout. On Sunday, the second to last day of the week for me, we start with squats. We do about an 85 kg. I just did 8k. I just did 80 for 5x5, so 85 kg is going to be the next, but we're dropping the reps down to get the form. Then when we got the form, we're going to up the reps. That's generally where I'm going. So like just went up in weights, so lowering reps while I build up, like building up the form, making sure that I'm hitting the weight correctly, that I'm like controlling the weight correctly as I'm going down. Like you need to really be careful when you're going up in weight because it's all about form, it's all about technique, it's all about getting that down, because without the form you're going to hurt yourself. And I can't afford to do that, not with my CP, because if I fuck up my legs or anything like that, then it's going to damage me more than it would to most people, unfortunately. And that's why we just try to be very careful. Squats are the most dangerous for me. Out of all of the weight, the squats are the scariest, like just to kind of get everything down. I'm getting better with them, it's just scary for me, because it's like loading over my body weight onto my back, you know what I mean? Like I'm like 70, what was I, like 76, 77, somewhere around there. And then like and then you put in 85 kg, which is just over my body weight onto my back. Like it's like, okay, it's like almost like 1.25 my body weight right now, which is like scary, but I feel strong. I felt strong with the 80, like I could do it. I was tired by the time we got to the 5th like set, but that's normal, man. That means you're timing yourself out like good, you know what I mean? Like if you're not tired by the time you get to the end of your set, man, you're doing something wrong. So then we do an elevated lunge. We generally do, you know, where you put one arm onto a bench, one leg onto a bench, and then you do a lunge that way with like 2 10 kg weights in your hands. And of course we do the calf machine. I can max out the machine, but I try not to. I try to go for about 100 kg just to be safe. You don't really need much more weight than that. 100 kg is completely fine on your calves. I don't see why you'd need to max out the machine on it. I can, but I don't see why I would want to. So I go safe and I just go 10x5 on that. We go to hamstrings. I generally do the one where you're kicking your legs like backwards, if you know what I mean. You know, where you're like raising it backwards, where you're holding a thing and you like pressing it like towards your ass, if you know what I mean, like that kind of way. And then we go to quads. Quads are generally just doing like you know, the push machine with your legs, you know what I mean. And then leg press, and then the leg press is obviously it's a leg press. It's not the one where it's like that, it's the one where it's like that. So the one where it's like that hurts my back too much, unfortunately. So I just skip that one and I go to the one that's a little bit easier. And we end it with a kettlebell. We just use a kettlebell about 20 kg, and we just do standard, like you put it into the air, then as you're catching it, you go down, you like bend your knees to catch it, and then as you're swinging it back up, you're using your legs for that momentum. So you're making it into a leg day exercise over anything else. And that is my week. Like, it's not easy to grow muscle, it's not easy to diet properly, but it's possible, and that's all that I wanted to say with this video. Like, yes, I do a lot. You do have to do as much as me? No. How would you build it up yourself, man? You would just start small like I do. You start with 3 days. You do the fundamentals, you do squat, deadlift, and bench. And you build it and build it and build it and build it. Like, as you saw, my weakest is my chest, but that's getting stronger and stronger and stronger as time goes on. My chest is going to catch up. My strongest is my deadlift. My squats, the max squat I've ever done was 100. I think I could beat that if I really wanted to, but I'd rather be safe. As I just said, man, squats are the scariest for me. So if you're ever scared about doing squats, go with as much weight as you feel comfortable. Work on form. Once your form is down, then work on everything else. That's the most important thing to ever do. So I hope you found this insightful, interesting, or whatever. I know it's been a long video. I'm very sorry for that, but it just seemed interesting and important for me to make it, because the fact I've managed to go from 120 kg body weight down to 76, down to what I am now, and manage to start training and gaining strength and like gaining muscle and stuff like that. Like, I'm not huge yet, but I'm starting to get there. Like, I'm starting to get all of the strength and I'm starting to get everything going, and like size is just a matter of time. Strength, you could be skinny as fuck and have a lot of strength still. It happens all the time. It's just size takes time, and if you're after size, then you need to eat differently. But if you're just trying to be like me, we're trying to be lean, and you're just trying to be like as skinny as you can without being unhealthy, then definitely just go for something where you're working out everything, and it'll really work well. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful day, evening or night, and I will catch you guys in the very next video. Until then, take it easy.